We were 3 weeks away from the wedding with Lauren. All the big stuff was already locked down, dress fittings finished, venue secured, menu signed off. Her Pinterest boards had been dissected down to the tiniest detail, every flower choice and table setup carefully approved like it was a military operation. I just sent the final payment to the live band. Lauren kept saying she wanted the reception to feel elegant and high-end, but somehow still be wild enough to rage, whatever that was supposed to mean. Her name was already listed on my health insurance. That's how official it all felt. We were even talking about baby names. Caleb if it was a boy. Lily if it was a girl. My future felt sealed shut and neatly labeled until one message blew the whole thing apart. It came from Natalie. Don't marry her. That was it. 3 words. No punctuation. No explanation. I just stared at my phone, trying to make sense of it. Natalie and I weren't close. She was one of Lauren's old friends from undergrad, the type of woman who always seemed to know everyone's secrets before anyone else did. The kind who remembered things people hoped stayed buried. Over the years, we'd shared a few casual conversations at barbecues and game nights. She always came across as sharp and sarcastic, maybe a little too blunt for Lauren's liking. I texted back, "What's this about?" Her reply came almost immediately. "Not over text. Meet me." She sent the details right after Old Pine Park, 3 p.m. No emojis. No small talk. I showed up 20 minutes early. The park was nearly empty, the sky overcast, wind pushing dry leaves across the benches like the place itself was restless. I sat there quietly, watching squirrels argue over scraps, feeling like I was already the punchline to a joke I didn't understand yet. She arrived wearing jeans and a dark hoodie, no makeup, no effort to soften anything. She noticed me before I even stood up. "Hey," she said. That was all. No smile. No filler words. Just flat and unreadable. "Hey," I answered. She didn't sit down. Instead, she pulled out her phone, tapped the screen a few times, and handed it to me. No explanation. Just the glow of the display between us. It was a photo. Lauren, my Lauren, wearing a white sash that read bride-to-be, sitting on a couch in some nightclub. She was very close to a man at the party, in a way that made the scene awkward. Her fingers were tangled in his hair. They were dancing very closely, in a way that made the moment inappropriate. I blinked. That was her bachelorette party 2 nights ago, Natalie said. Her voice was completely flat, like she'd already used up all her emotion before she ever came here. She swiped to the next picture. Lauren was dancing in a very uninhibited way with him. Another swipe. Lauren laughing, a bottle in one hand, one heel missing from her foot. Her lipstick was smeared. Her eyes looked empty, unfocused. She left with him, Natalie said. I didn't say anything. I just stared at the screen, like maybe if I kept looking, the image would shift into something forgivable. Lauren had been the one who pushed for doing the bachelor and bachelorette parties early. She said she didn't want to look bloated or hungover on the wedding day. "Give me time to detox and blow," she joked. I remembered laughing with her. Remembered thinking how considerate that sounded. It felt pathetic now. I handed the phone back, breathing slowly through my nose. My jaw was tight. My face felt numb, like it didn't belong to me anymore. "She told the girls not to tell you," Natalie added quietly. Said it was her last night as a free woman. Said she earned it. There was no anger in Natalie's voice. Just exhaustion. Like she'd already burned through everything before she ever sent me that message. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. She didn't hesitate. "Because you deserve to know what you're about to marry." I stared past her, past the park, into nothing at all. Then I nodded once. That was it. No yelling. No questions. Just the slow, heavy silence of something snapping deep inside you. I went home without saying a word. Lauren was supposedly working late. I didn't wait around. I packed. Not everything. Just what mattered. My laptop. My passport. A few clothes. I left the engagement photos stuck to the fridge like some kind of cruel joke. Took the hard drive from my PC and left the rest behind. By the time she got home, I was already gone. I didn't block her number. I wanted to watch her panic. The first day was just texts. Where are you? Is everything okay? I'm getting worried. The second day, the tone shifted. You're scaring me. If this is cold feet, at least call me. I stayed silent. On the third day, I finally cracked. I turned my phone back on in a motel 2 towns over. It rang within 10 minutes. Finally, she said when I answered. Her voice was shaky. Where are you? What's going on? You know exactly what's going on. There was a long pause. I could hear her breathing. I don't. I saw the pictures, I said. Silence. You left with a nightclub dancer. That's not what it looks like. Stop, I said. Just stop. I know what I saw. I didn't sleep with him. You think I'm stupid? I was drunk, she said. It was a mistake. One night, I said. That's it. And you weren't planning to tell me, were you? You were just going to walk down the aisle, lie through your vows, and pretend nothing happened. I didn't mean for it to go that far, she said, her voice breaking. But it did. Please, she begged. Let me explain. Not like this. Let's talk in person. I've got nothing to say, I told her, and I hung up. She called 20 more times. I let every one of them ring out. Then the voicemails started. The crying. The panic. The anger. I listened to all of them. Not because I cared, but because I wanted every illusion burned down to ash. After that came the guilt. I'm falling apart. You're the only one who can calm me down. The messages came nonstop every hour, then every 10 minutes, day and night. When texts didn't work, she switched back to voicemails, like hearing her voice would weaken me. When that failed, she turned it into blame. Everyone's asking questions. Do you know how humiliated I feel? I made one mistake and you're destroying everything. Like betrayal was something you calculated on a scale. Then the threats started. Some vague. Some not. I don't know what I'll do if you keep ignoring me. I can't handle this alone. I saved everything. Every text. Every voicemail. I never replied. I just documented. Then suddenly, nothing. Like she'd finally run out of words. Or maybe she was planning something worse. 3 days later, I walked into the office like it was any normal morning. Coffee in my hand. Brain on autopilot. I ignored the usual chatter at the front desk. I turned the corner toward the hallway that led to my floor and stopped cold. It wasn't Lauren. It was Lauren's mother, sitting in the lobby. Hair perfect. Designer coat. Handbag that probably cost more than my monthly rent. She looked completely out of place, like she'd wandered off the golf course and somehow ended up standing stiffly inside an office building. The second she saw me, her gaze snapped onto mine. No smile. No warmth. Can we talk somewhere private? She asked. I didn't bother answering. I turned and headed down the back hallway near the loading dock. Concrete floors echoed underfoot. A flickering light buzzed overhead. No one else around. She followed me in silence. We stopped near the freight elevator. She stayed standing. Didn't lean. Didn't relax. Lauren is falling apart, she said. I didn't respond. She isn't eating. She barely sleeps. She cries all day. I waited. She made a mistake. No, I said. She made a decision. Her face tightened. She didn't sleep with him. At this point, I don't believe anything. She was drunk. It was one night. A stupid one. It was a night she planned to keep from me forever. Her posture stiffened. Her voice sharpened. Maybe if you'd been more present, she wouldn't have felt pushed to do something like that. That landed hard, but I stayed still. So now it's my fault? I'm saying she felt neglected, she replied. Ignored. You're distant. You always have been. I let out a quiet, bitter laugh. She controlled every detail of that wedding, I said. From the cake flavor to the napkin colors. I went along with all of it. If I pulled back, it's because I trusted the wrong person. You two were perfect, she snapped. No, I said. She was perfect when I didn't know who she really was. She glanced around the hallway like she needed to escape. You're really walking away from all of this? She asked. From her? From our family? There's nothing left to walk away from. Her jaw clenched. You're making a mistake, she said coldly. And when this blows over, don't expect her to take you back. I nodded once. Goodbye. I turned and left. I blocked her number, but that didn't end it. 2 days later, her father showed up. He didn't knock. Didn't call. He waited in the motel parking lot until I stepped outside for a cigarette. He leaned against a silver BMW, scrolling his phone. When he saw me, he slipped it into his pocket. You've been difficult to find, he said. I took a drag and stayed quiet. We need to talk. No, we don't. He stepped closer. You embarrassed my daughter. You humiliated our family. People are talking. She did that herself. His eyes narrowed. We're out over 30 grand, he said. Venue. Catering. Flowers. Dress. Photographer. Do you even understand what you've cost us? Oh, I understand perfectly, I said. She cheats, and somehow I owe you. You walked away from a legal commitment. Then show me the paperwork. He scowled. I always thought something was off about you, he muttered. Too quiet. Always watching. My wife said you had dangerous eyes, he added. Should have trusted her instincts. Dangerous eyes, I repeated. That's cute. She's still willing to forgive you, he said. How generous. He moved closer. Too close. Listen, he said. I don't care how hurt you are. You either show up and fix this, or you'll be paying us back through the courts. I flicked the cigarette onto the asphalt. Go ahead. The next morning, Lauren showed up. At least she warned me first. Texted that she needed 5 minutes. Said she was parked outside. I looked out the window. She sat in her white Lexus with the engine running, gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping her together. I don't know why I went down. Curiosity, maybe. Or closure. Or maybe I just wanted to see her face when control finally slipped. I got into the passenger seat. You look awful, I said. She laughed weakly. You too. We sat there in silence. Her makeup was smudged, but she'd clearly tried. Lipstick perfect. Clothes carefully chosen. Like this was still a negotiation. I miss you, she said softly. No, I replied. You miss having the upper hand. She studied my face, like she was searching for the version of me she used to manipulate. Then she leaned closer. If it helps, you can sleep with someone else. I blinked. What? I mean it, she said quickly. Once. Anyone. I won't get mad. We're engaged. It should balance things out. You think this is about payback? I think it's about fairness, she said. You deserve something too. I stared straight ahead. You think permission fixes betrayal? I think it shows I'm trying. No, I said. It shows desperation. Her expression twisted. I'm doing everything I can, she snapped. To protect your image, I said. Not your integrity. Don't do that, she fired back. Don't pretend you've never. I never cheated on you. You're acting like I committed a crime. No, I said calmly. He saw Lauren getting very close to a stranger in public, then try to bargain her way out of it. That's not love. That's damage control. Something broke. She pushed me in frustration, clearly angry. I hate you, she screamed. She shoved me hard enough that I slammed against the door. You're cold, she spat. You don't have a heart. I met her eyes. No, I said evenly. I just finally see the truth. I opened the door and stepped out. Don't you walk away from me again, she screamed. This isn't over. I turned once. You offered me forgiveness like a coupon, I said. That's all I need to know. Then I walked away. And this time, I meant it. Lauren didn't stop after that. She escalated. Voice messages replaced texts. Crying. Begging. Repeating the same lines on loop. Please. Just talk to me. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I'll do anything. The next day, she showed up at my job. She stood outside the building like a scene from an old noir movie, coat tight, sunglasses on, arms wrapped around herself. I froze. Then I walked toward her. If you come near me again, I said, I'll call the police. Her face fell. You'd really do that? Try me. I turned and walked inside. She stayed right where she was, watching me disappear. That night, I scheduled a legal consultation. By the next morning, I was sitting across from an attorney in a quiet office tucked above a tile showroom. Mid-40s. Rolled sleeves. No small talk. He scrolled through the messages on my phone, one after another, barely reacting. This is plenty, he said finally. Repeated contact. Showing up at your job. Flooding your phone. That's a pattern. She's not dangerous, I said. She's unraveling. That's enough, he replied. You don't wait for someone to escalate. She's already crossed multiple lines. He tapped his pen against the screen. Her showing up at your workplace is what locks this in. That's pressure. That's not acceptable. I leaned back in the chair. She used to be methodical, I said. Now it's like she's burning alive and grabbing for anything nearby. Breakups don't break people, he said. They reveal who was already unstable. He drafted the paperwork quickly and walked me through each section. This won't erase her emotions, he added. But it builds a wall. And walls matter. 3 days later, the order was served. Directly to her. By a court officer. No calls. No messages. No showing up anywhere I was known to be. I honestly thought that would end it. It didn't. I was pouring coffee in the office kitchen when I heard the front desk girl call down the hallway. There's a woman here who says she's your fiance? I stepped out. Lauren stood in the lobby. Black blazer. Heels. Lipstick like she was headed into battle. Her chest was heaving, eyes locked tight. In her hand, something thick. Stapled. The second she saw me, she charged forward and flung a stack of papers straight into my chest. Pages scattered across the floor. You want a war, she snapped. Fine. Here it is. I looked down. Hayes V., my name. Civil filing. $32,800. The same itemized list I'd already seen, still warm from her grip. They're suing me, I said. No, she hissed. We are. You don't just vanish and humiliate people, she said. You left me to clean up everything. You made the mess, I said evenly. I made one mistake. And you made 10 after that. She stepped closer. You think running makes you strong, she said. It makes you a coward. And you're playing a role no one's buying, I replied. Her jaw tightened. Her eyes shimmered, not with tears. With fury. My parents are respected, she said. I'm respected. You think you can disappear and make us look like trash? I bent down slowly, gathered the papers, and held them out to her. You're managing that just fine on your own. She slapped them out of my hand. I swear to God, if you don't fix this. What? I said. Cry louder? Send more threats? Show up with another performance? She glanced around. People were staring now. Phones half raised. She lowered her voice. This doesn't have to get worse. I smiled. It already ended. I turned and walked away. She didn't follow. Later that afternoon, I dropped the wrinkled lawsuit packet onto my lawyer's desk. She brought it herself, I said. Threw it at me in front of my co-workers. He flipped through it calmly. Venue deposit. Catering. Flowers, he read. Hair trials. Makeup. Photographer. Dress. He looked up and nodded. They're embarrassing themselves. There's no contract, he continued. No prenup. No written agreement assigning financial responsibility. And the emotional damages claim, he smirked. That'll get laughed out of court. So I owe them nothing. Not a cent. I leaned back. Good. He turned to the final page. And here's the real comedy. He read aloud. Emotional damages for abandonment during a committed engagement. I shook my head. They actually put that in writing. They think you'll panic, he said. Settle quietly. Avoid attention. They don't know me. That night, I posted a single sentence online. The wedding is cancelled. There will be no new date. Please respect my privacy. 10 minutes later, a voicemail came in from Lauren's sister. Her voice was thick with poison. You're destroying her. She's not sleeping. She's not eating. She's going to end up hospitalized, and you're just standing by. I didn't respond. Didn't save it. Later that day, an unfamiliar number rang. Voicemail. Lauren. Her voice sounded thin. Unsteady. She called, sounding desperate and saying she was in a dangerous situation. I drove fast, but calm. Not because I feared she'd die. But because if she pulled this, it had to end permanently. It was raining when I got there. Cold rain. Sharp enough to sting. She was standing by the railing, clearly upset and unsure what to do, soaked through in that ridiculous white trench coat she used to love. Don't! I yelled as I approached. She turned slowly. Mascara streaked down her face. Wet hair clung to her neck. She smiled. Too softly. I knew you'd come. You don't scare me, I said. I scare myself, she whispered. I stopped a few feet away. Hands in my pockets. Steady. No panic. Not this time. I tried to calm her down and prevent her from doing something dangerous. She tilted her head. How do you know? Because you wore makeup. She froze. If this were real, I said, you wouldn't care how you looked. You're not here to die. Silence. You're here to make me chase you, I continued. Beg. Hold you. Her lips trembled. You don't want to die, I said. You want to win. I just want you to see what you're doing to me. No, I replied. I want you to see what you did. You could forgive me, she said. People survive worse. I'm not people. She inhaled sharply. Please, she said. Don't leave me like this. You left me first, I said. You betrayed me. You lied. You made everyone lie for you. She slapped me. Hard. Rain dripping from her fingers. I didn't react. I turned and walked away. She didn't jump. The courtroom wasn't crowded, but the air felt heavy. Her parents sat at the plaintiff's table, polished, rigid. Her mother stiff in pearls. Her father in a tailored suit, wearing a smug look that didn't survive long. Lauren wasn't there. Of course she wasn't. She always let other people fight her battles. The hearing moved quickly at first, almost procedural. Her parents' attorney stood and delivered their argument like it had been rehearsed in front of a mirror. My clients invested substantial financial resources into a formal union, he said, voice smooth. That union was abruptly abandoned by the defendant, resulting in financial loss and emotional distress. My lawyer stood before the words could settle. Your Honor, may I respond directly? The judge nodded once. Proceed. My attorney stepped forward, calm as still water. Let's talk about why this wedding didn't happen, he said. Not hypothetically. Specifically. He set a thick binder on the table. It hit with a solid thump. Contained here are messages exchanged between Miss Lauren Hayes and her friends in the days surrounding her bachelorette party. Then he reached into his briefcase and removed a sealed plastic evidence bag. Among the evidence were personal items from the bachelorette event. The courtroom shifted. Someone inhaled sharply. The judge blinked. These were recovered from a man named Daniel Price, my lawyer continued evenly. He was hired as entertainment for Miss Hayes's bachelorette event. Murmurs rippled through the room. Mr. Price left the city shortly after, my lawyer went on, flipping a page. However, he was recently located, interviewed, and provided a sworn statement. He looked up. That statement confirms Miss Hayes left the venue with him. She left with him after the party, and left these items behind. Gasps. Not whispers. Actual gasps. The judge leaned forward, adjusting his glasses. You're saying this evidence came directly from the individual involved? Yes, Your Honor, my lawyer said. Mr. Price also stated that Miss Hayes told him, and this is a direct quote, "It's my last night as a free woman. Might as well enjoy it." Her mother made a small, broken sound. Her father's hand curled tight against the table. The judge turned sharply toward the plaintiff's side. Is any part of this being disputed? Their attorney hesitated. Your Honor, my clients were unaware of these circumstances. That's your position, the judge snapped. Unaware? He lifted the evidence bag with visible disgust. This is not how someone prepares for marriage. This is not emotional injury. He set the bag down. This is deception. His eyes locked onto her parents. You're fortunate I'm only dismissing this case. Then he looked at me. This man owes you nothing. And your daughter owes him the truth. He paused, then added, voice cool and precise. Frankly, what she needs isn't compensation. It's a mirror. The gavel came down hard. Case dismissed. With prejudice. They didn't linger. Her father stormed out first, walking like speed could outrun humiliation. Her mother followed, heels clicking sharply, clutching the dismissed paperwork in a manicured fist. But they didn't make it far. Right there in the courthouse hallway, her mother snapped. This is your fault, she hissed at her husband. No restraint. No performance left. He spun around. Excuse me? You raised her to believe she could lie her way out of anything. Oh, don't start, he shot back. You're the one who covered for her every time she messed up. I protected her. Someone had to, she fired back, because you were too busy golfing to be a father. The argument detonated in the open corridor, voices bouncing off marble walls. A court clerk froze behind the desk. Two law students stopped mid-stride. People were staring now. She humiliated us, her mother shouted. She disgraced this family. Her father cut her off, pointing past her toward me. He didn't disgrace us. She did. Her mother turned on me, eyes blazing, finger extended like she was issuing a sentence. This is what you wanted, isn't it? To ruin her? To turn us into a spectacle? I didn't move. You did that yourselves. Her mouth twisted. You're disgusting. I smiled faintly. And you're dismissed. Before she could fire back, a security guard stepped in. That's enough. Take it outside. Her father didn't hesitate. He pushed through the front doors. Her mother lingered a moment longer, breathing hard, eyes fixed on me like she still believed anger counted as leverage. But the moment had passed. She turned and followed him out. I stepped outside into the cold afternoon air. And there she was. Natalie. Leaning against a brick column near the courthouse steps. Arms crossed. Scarf loose around her neck. Watching me like she'd known exactly when I'd appear. I stopped short. You stayed, I said. She shrugged. Figured someone should. I walked down the steps, loosened my tie halfway, and let out a long breath. That was a circus. She smirked. You were the only one who didn't look like a clown. I almost smiled. You saw all of it? She nodded. The meltdown. The father turning gray. The mother blaming gravity. And, she asked. And I'm glad you burned the whole thing down. We stood there quietly for a second while the city kept moving around us. Cars honked. Traffic crawled. People hurried past with places to be and lives still intact. For the first time in months, I felt steady. Not numb. Just still. Want to get a drink? Natalie said. You look like you need something stronger than office coffee. Honestly, I said, I just want to sit somewhere quiet with someone who doesn't fake cry or throw legal documents. She lifted an eyebrow. That's a strangely sweet thing to say. I shrugged. I guess I'm a strange guy now. She hesitated for half a second, then tilted her head toward the street. I'm parked around the corner. We can go to my place. I've got whiskey. And silence. Perfect. We walked side by side. No touching. No urgency. Just two people who'd spent weeks circling the same storm and finally stepped into clear air at the same time. I didn't know what would come next. But for the first time in a long while, I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't broken. I just felt ready. 3 weeks passed. No messages from Lauren. No surprise appearances. No bridge drama. No voicemails, letters, or late-night attempts to pull me back in. She went completely silent. At first, I figured maybe she'd finally moved on. Found someone new to manipulate. Or maybe she'd buried it all under therapy appointments and wine glasses. But silence doesn't always mean peace. Sometimes it just means pressure building. I didn't ask about her. Didn't check her social media. Didn't care enough to look. Still, the world has a way of handing you information whether you ask for it or not. Natalie was the one who told me. We were sitting on the couch one evening, half watching a movie neither of us was invested in, when her phone lit up. She read the message, paused, then handed the screen to me. It's from my cousin, she said. She still runs in Lauren's orbit, sort of. The message was short. Lauren checked herself in. Psych facility. Breakdown. Parents are trying to keep it quiet. I read it twice. Then I set the phone down. No reaction. No relief. No satisfaction. Just a long, slow breath out. She cracked? I asked. Natalie nodded. Apparently she vanished for 2 days. left her phone at home. They found her asleep in her car at a rest stop about an hour outside the city. She didn't even remember how she got there. I looked at Natalie. Is this just another sympathy play? She met my eyes and shook her head. No. This one's real. Ugly real. She went on. Her mom went silent for days. Her dad's been calling lawyers, trying to get records sealed, names scrubbed. And Lauren, she added quietly. I think she finally ran out of people to lie to. I didn't say anything. After a while, Natalie asked, "Do you feel bad for her?" I thought about it longer than I expected. No, I said. I don't. Then, after another beat, I just feel nothing. That was the part that surprised me most. Not the breakdown. Not the disappearance. Not the silence. But the absence of weight. She had burned everything to the ground herself. And standing in the ashes, there was nothing left that belonged to me. And for the first time since this all began, that felt like freedom.